No, that's actually a great question. Let's take a second to dive into that now. Strategies for retirement income can be broken down into two basic tactics. The first is capital utilization. The second is capital preservation. With capital preservation, the retiree only takes the growth from their investment. Now, this comes in the form of what? Interest, dividends, and growth. And he leaves the principal, or she leaves the principal intact, only taking the growth. And while this strategy will ensure that your assets are never depleted, it does have its downfalls, doesn't it? 2015 has been a reminder to us that growth in investment markets doesn't always happen each year. Like wearing white pants during a spaghetti dinner, investing does involve some level of risk. If an investor, though, is truly using the capital preservation strategy, meaning they're only taking the growth, dividends, and interest, they must be prepared to not pull money from their variable investments during years when the growth in variable investments is negative or flat. So if we're going to use this strategy, capital preservation, we must be willing to not take any income during certain years or maybe certain months. Now, the opposite strategy is the capital utilization strategy. And this strategy involves the retiree systematically spending down assets over a specific period of time. And that is typically 30 years or more. Why? Because we're accounting for a long retirement. Capital utilization allows a retiree to pull more money from their investments. Why? Well, because we're pulling both principal and growth. And this is a tactic that most retirees use in some form or fashion. They use this because they find out that they did not accumulate large enough of a nest egg to comfortably live off the interest and growth only, and also because most retirees need income on a monthly basis, and they can't take months off just because their investments aren't producing a return. The major drawback to this strategy is the account balances tend to decline over the years, which opens the door for what? Yep, longevity risk. Longevity risk is the financial jargon term for, hey buddy, you just outlived your money. So what's the solution to longevity risk? More cheeseburgers, less salad? Perhaps, that's one, but I think we can find a couple more options available to you than that. The above examples, capital utilization and capital preservation, are a bit oversimplified. Those are the two basic strategies, but often retirees can incorporate a blend of those two strategies. For example, we may allocate a portion of an investor's nest egg to producing current income that is required to meet current daily lifestyle needs, and a portion to produce also future income, which allows the retiree to keep pace with inflation. If you've read my article, 3 Buckets to Successful Retirement Income, this will sound very familiar. In a perfect world, when we sit down and allocate a retirement portfolio, it is beneficial to have 6 to 18 months of income available in cash or cash equivalents. Why is that? When a retiree uses the capital utilization strategy, spending down of the assets, and begins spending down the assets, the real strain comes when they are pulling money out from their variable investments, stocks and bonds, when the investment markets are declining. And when they pull money out, when their investments are experiencing a loss, they are in fact accelerating the depletion of their assets. So what are the benefits to having 6 to 18 months of cash on hand? I think that's probably an obvious, the answer is maybe obvious, but maybe not quite as obvious for somebody who is taking retirement income. When a retiree has 6 to 18 months of cash reserve on hand, they can live off that cash during times when the market conditions are poor, and thus hopefully avoid selling investments at a loss and thus allowing their assets to be preserved longer and to produce income longer. And you may be surprised what can be used to buy time while market conditions are poor. I'll give you one example. Say somebody does not have 6 to 18 months of cash on hand, but they have a cash value life insurance policy. Cash value life insurance is a great example of liquid cash that can be accessed during times when the market conditions are poor or possibly in a recession, and thus pulling the strain off your variable investments to produce income. Another product that can be helpful to a retiree to combat longevity risk, outliving money, is a low-cost fixed annuity. Annuities currently pay higher income streams and can be safely achieved through stocks and bonds alone, thus allowing the retiree to use less of their assets to produce current income. What does that do? The less assets we need to produce current income, the more we can allocate towards future income, and thus guaranteeing the safety of retirement. So If your strategy to deal with longevity risk was to die early, it might be time to rethink that because there are better options available to you.